Can you tell us? Oh,
I was thinking if I didn't have to do this, I was going to do it online.
I'm not there right now.
But I'm glad because every time I do it, it increases my confidence. Because I'm just really not used to driving this type of stuff. I know that would be the tricky part, because I don't have a reflection ready.
Which is why I never went back.
Oh, so you have I don't think so. Yeah, that's because you just press the Yeah, that is tricky. I don't know what to say. But then I would just call 911. Maybe you should write the number down on your index card and put it in your glove box of your car.
Do you know how many times I've said it? Ask me now. No, but I will.
You know what happened to me a couple weeks ago? It was when it snowed. I was getting ready to go to the grocery store. I went out to my car and I had my dog and stuff, and luckily he wasn't in the car. But
I did send it
the door, I put my purse in the car. The door kind of blew shut partly. It just kind of clicked. So then I tried to open it, and it wasn't. It let me. A lot of cars let it lock. Yeah, but it just clicked, and so now I'm paranoid because I have to. So luckily my neighbor behind me was getting in his car, so he's so lovely. So he called the locksmith because we couldn't get it. And so I had to pay $80 to get in the car.
For a click.
And it took him like 2 minutes to get in there because, and my neighbor was trying to kind of do that, but he didn't really know the tricks of the trade, like anyway, so now I'm just paranoid. Okay, should I stop?
They're on.
Good morning. I'm Cindy Loudon, and I use she, her pronouns. I serve this congregation in adultery and social justice committees, and today I'm the worship associate. Welcome to our special place. We welcome especially those joining us for the first time. We live stream our services on YouTube, and our recordings are then saved in our UUC QC YouTube channel. If you don't want to appear in our recordings, you can sit under the owl's nest by the bookshelves. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning. Okay.
You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Their father in hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and and know they love you. And you offender, you
Do you care?
and know the fear.
Can you see
At your elders
you must be free
And so
to
please help
teach your children
with your
what you believe
They seek
in.
the truth
Make a world
before
that
they can
we
die.
can live in. Teach
Your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Miriam. I am Alice Martin, and I use she, her pronouns, and I, along with Cindy, will be leading this service. I'd like to start with our opening, and if we're all aware that this is December, welcome December, and the theme for December is choosing hope. In my ponderings on this theme, I found my inspiration in a poem written by Emily Dickinson called Hope. Before we read her poem, a bit of her background, and you'll find the poem in the order of service under reflection. So eventually we will read it. So if you locate it, we'll be all on the same page. Emily Dickinson was born in 1830 in Massachusetts. Throughout her life, she experienced significant personal tragedy with the death of many of her loved ones. Her life was defined by increasingly socially withdrawing, which began in her mid-20s and became more pronounced over time. She eventually stopped leaving her home, oftentimes receiving visitors through a closed door or in the staircase. This isolation was driven by a combination of personal choice, a possible mental disorder like anxiety, and profound impact of her grief. The final years of her life were marked by declining health, fainting spells that eventually confined her to her bed, and she passed away at age 56. In her lifetime, Emily Dickinson wrote 1,800 poems, of which only a handful were published in her lifetime. And even then, only anonymously, and with many significant alterations. It was only after her death that her sister discovered these 1,800 poems, which eventually led her to get them published and led us to know Emily Dickinson as one of the greatest poets of our American culture. Let us read together, as you find hope written in your order of service, the words, "Speak what they may to you." Hope by Emily Dickinson. Let us begin. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chilliest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Hope, that thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. May we today in this service acquaint ourselves with our own still voice that calls to us and asks us to say in the end, it mattered, I was here, and I'm glad I came. And the world echoes that back to us. Let us arise. No, we're not going to rise yet. We are now going to have the chalice lighting. And all join in the words of the chalice as written in your order of service. Bring all you are, every shadow and every light, every hope, every fear, for this time we are together. Come, let us be hope for each other and work together to gather our dreams into our reality. Let us rise in body or spirit for our opening song, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," on page 16. The lyrics are in the order of service, maybe, and on the screen. Sure, let's do 2 verses. Let's keep it simple and remain standing as we greet the holy amidst us.
All right, children, come on up.
Is this mine?
But somebody else did.
All right, good morning. We've got a small but dedicated crowd today with the weather, so it's good to see you all. So we're going to talk a little bit about hope. What's something for my friends on the floor here? What's something that you are? Ask this. What does that mean when you for something? You want it to happen. Is it different than wish or maybe dream? Is it a little more? No, a little more bigger than are you hoping for? Maybe you're hoping you get a donut downstairs. I don't know why I keep coming in. I got my green light, but it's cutting in now. Anyways, we'll work with it. So I think of hope as something that's a little more than just hoping for cookies in the morning or donuts downstairs. Hope is a little bigger than that. Hope is something for your soul, for your spirit. So let me ask, so last week we had a ton of snow. We all missed church. Who was out shoveling snow? I know I see a bunch of any kids? Were any kids shoveling snow? Okay, a few. Did anyone go and shovel anyone else's sidewalk or driveway besides? Yeah, I see a few people out there. So I bet the people who had their driveways and sidewalks shoveled, they were probably hoping, and maybe if they weren't able to, they were probably glad for that, and they were probably hoping that someone might do that as a good favor for them. And that's one way we can spread hope and raise spirits. Another way, so I've got hat and gloves in my hand, so I think you've all seen probably the mitten tree, the giving tree that's in the front. So we're still collecting items for that. And so now when we go downstairs, we're going to do something a little different today because we've got a small group and it's Tiffany's week off. So we have set up the lounge with a bunch of cool decorating stations. So we're going to make some decorations for the downstairs. We've got some garlands to make with cranberries, and we've got some special chalk markers to paint window on the windows, but it wipes off really easy, so don't worry about it. And stuff to color and decorate. So with that, let us go downstairs and have some fun.
Good morning. I am Susan Perry, a member of the Pastoral Care Team. As we gather today, we pause to reflect on what lies within our hearts. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to recognize our personal joys and sorrows and to read from the book of joys and sorrows those personal life events you have chosen to share with us. One joy is that we are all here today, and all who are here made it safely. Any joys or sorrows online?
I just see somebody saying, good turnout today.
Good. Thank you. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet, to a silent prayer for the healing of pain and the comfort of love. Following our silent meditation, we will enter into a time of musical meditation when you are invited to come forward and light a candle. May we discover a sense of peace and fulfillment in the quiet, in the music, and in the light.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. This month's undesignated plate offering will go towards staff bonuses. We are blessed to have the staff we do that keeps our community moving forward. To Nicole, our church administrator, Gates, our magical pianist who leads our choir, as well as Tiffany, our youth director, and Jeff, our factotum, and to Sarah, who organizes the nursery. They are the glue that holds all of the loose pieces together and makes everything workable. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving to our staff as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able. For all of the gifts of time and treasures that you give to this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we thank you.
I've never been a fan of hope. This is confession time. It seems it only brought to me disappointment. I likened hope to a wish or a prayer, all putting out there something I desired, yet leaving me in the darkness when they were never fulfilled. Examples: I wish I would win the lottery so I can pay off my debts, but that's never happened, obviously. I pray after every gun shooting that we would quit killing each other with such violence, yet gun violence increases. At this time of year especially, I hope for peace on earth, but for hundreds of years that has never been accomplished. I have thought of hope as fingers crossed, fingers laced in prayer, or raised to the heavens pleading for help. But none yet has come to fruition. And for those yearnings, there seems to be only silence and disappointment. So when I saw this month's theme was hope, I was excited to have my pessimistic views of hope affirmed. Like, yeah, too many disappointments, too many unfulfilled hopes assured me this is going to be a tough one to talk about, which would leave us all depressed. Thankfully, that didn't happen. One day, as I was thinking about hope and what I might say, I I tried to recall a poem that I just could not grasp its title or its poet. I racked my brain, but nothing came, but there was something in me that kept prompting a desire to seek it. So one day, I looked, my phone lit up, and I looked, and it was a picture of my granddaughter, Emily. Bingo, a light went on. Emily Dickinson, The Poem of Hope. It was a key that unlocked my way into seeing hope as foundational to all that exists, to all that we are. A meaning that gave me understanding of myself and the call that is within me and all of us for what we hope for. You will have noticed as we read the poem by Emily Dickinson that there is not a word in it of unfulfilled desires, frustrations, letdowns, or disappointments. There's something in that poem that I needed to hear. What I began to hear instead was that hope is intrinsic to our very being. It is an inner and enduring force that doesn't use language. It is ever present. It is deep in that innermost space within us, vibrating with itself that echoes to us to live the call of our lives. It sings the loudest, quietly though, in the most crucial and difficult moments in our lives, offering us support that compels us to keep going, try again, get up, don't quit. It is an essential, deeply valuable part of ourselves that seeks the elements of life itself through growth, sustainability, sharing, and community. It is enduring as it represents humanity's infinite capacity to grow, to become, to yearn for the good that is hidden even in the darkness. Sometimes Dickinson says, the storms of life are harsh and cold, but it is that when the bird sings the loudest as the soul's primary cheerleader. What I heard as well as I look about me in a beauty of this earth we live on is that those words are in all of creation. That tune is sung in the seed of plants and trees. A yearning to sink their roots deep into the earth, to sprout and to grow and to survive. It is a natural rhythm of nature for the ebbs and the tides, the changing of the seasons, the darkness to light, all in its yearning to sustain life and to fulfill its work of bringing from the universe sustainability and preservation. What I heard was this tune without words is in all of us, a yearning, a reaching out, a desire to expand, deepen, and widen all of us in this great ball of dirt we call home. Hope prods us to grow toward our desires of that which will sustain us and leave us empty after our giving. And then I came back full circle because I wasn't quite sure of my words yet. And I stumbled over the word perch. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. Perching. I perch a lot on my sofa. I'm not doing anything, I'm perching. So what is this bird, supposedly the engineer of hope, doing perching? Well, useful if it's not doing anything but perching, then what is it all about? So I read the poem again. And this feathered bird perching is busy in a quiet way, singing a tune without words. Never a hardship or fear can make the bird feel ashamed or stop singing, and keeps singing its tune even in the worst of storms. And then a light went off. Boom. The word choosing, hope, is our theme. Not just hope, but choosing hope. And not just choosing hope, but tapping into being hope. Being a force, putting words to the tune this bird perches quietly humming, that is our wishes and our desires and our prayers. And it is we who bring that into reality. Putting into action those wordless tunes through our efforts, through our words, through our actions to make our hopes into reality. There is a photo I once saw of Jesus taken after a statue of Jesus was bombed in World War II. His feet and his hands had been blown off, and someone had put a placard underneath that statue, and it said, "You are now the hands and feet of Jesus." That is the embodiment of hope. We are the hands and feet of hope. And we are the vehicle to carry hope within us into the world around us. And then I found it as well in the following story that I appreciated. There was a man. He was so distraught by all the pain and suffering he saw all around him, and he broke down. And he fell to the ground, and he banged his fists into the dirt. His head's turned upward, and he yells at his God, "Look at this mess. Look at this pain and suffering. Look at all this killing and hate. God, oh God, why don't you do something?" And God then spoke and said, "I did. I sent you." When I say I wish I could win the lottery to pay off debts, I might instead need to stop spending money so recklessly. I might need to budget and forget my $6 a mocha to take courses to further my education so hopefully can find a better job. When I pray for gun violence to end, I become the prayer as I educate myself on the harmfulness of guns. I write editorials, I call my congressman, I join protests, and I talk facts, not opinions. When I hope for peace on earth, I become the carrier of that message as I begin to be at peace with myself and with others who may differ than I do. I will put aside my anger and my otherness, and I will begin to see us all as simply human beings, each doing the best we can in the moments we are given. Then I become an agent for peace on earth. I become that bird's wordless tune. But it's not easy to be that conveyor of hope through our living it. Thomas Merton puts it very explicitly. Do not depend on the hope of results. You may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless and even achieve no result at all. If not, perhaps, results opposite of what you had hoped for. Matthew at CrowsFault says it as well. People speak of hope as if it is this delicate, ephemeral thing made of whispers and spiderwebs. It's not. Hope has dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of the cobblestones in her hair, and just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. In choosing hope, we are the hope of being what we hoped for. Without hope, we are rudderless. We are led astray by whims and other opinions, never finding what we truly yearn for. And yet, putting ourselves out there can be scary. It's full of uncertainty, doubts, and fears. And we may never get what we had hoped for. There is grit, blood, and dirt that can be companions of hope, which causes us to dare not create the hope we seek, as told in this story called The Seeds of Life. There were two seeds, and they lay side by side in the fertile ground. The first seed said, "I want to grow. I want to send my roots in the soil beneath me and thrust my sprouts through the earth's crust above me. I want to unfurl my tender buds like banners to announce the arrival of spring. I want to feel the warmth of the sun on my face and the blessing of the morning dew on my petals." And so that seed grew. The second seed said, I'm afraid if I send my roots into the grounds below, I don't quite know what there is there in that darkness. If I push my way through the hard soil above me, I may damage my delicate sprouts. And if I left my buds open, a snail might try to eat them. And if I were to open my blossoms, a small child could pull me from the ground. Nope, it's much better for me to wait until it's safe. And so this seed waited. And then one day, a chicken, scratching around in the early spring looking for food, found the waiting seed and ate it. Along with all of what that little seed had to offer and aspired to be. Emily Dickinson, I have been taken with her, shows us the possibilities of nurturing that seed within us, to accept the call to be an instrument of the hope within us by heeding the call to be the change we hope to see in the world. Someone once said, no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there's something stronger, something better pushing right back. That something pushing Emily Dickinson right back was that bird perched into her soul that kept her writing her thoughts and insights into poetry amidst all of her tragedies. Amidst the tragedies in her illness, her anxiety, her isolation, she had dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of the cobblestones in her hair, and she just spat out a tooth as she arose for another go, another poem, another wink from the bird that perched in her soul. Keep on going, keep on writing. And although Emily never saw her poems published, she believed in their worth, she believed in their purpose, and in herself, that she had something that she wanted to say to change the world. And somewhere in this universe, I hear her giggle at this big, beautiful, essential circle of life that we talk about today using her name, kept alive by hope. It is stories such as these that help us to believe in what we hope for is worth giving our whole being to. We are the recipients of so many who may never have seen their hopes come to fruition, but we carry on their hope. And maybe that's not the point, really, that not all of our hopes come into reality. I mentioned a quote by Thomas Merton, but I will read the rest of what Thomas Merton had to say. As you get used to this idea that you may never receive the results you want, you start more and more not to concentrate on the results, but on the value, the rightness, the truth of the work itself. You gradually struggle less and less to make something happen, and more for people. In the end, it is the reality of personal relationships we have with each other that saves everything. Which reminded me of one last thing through my dive into hope. Hope is strengthened by community. I feel that hope when I walk in the door of this place. I feel the hope from the past that created our congregation over 170 years ago, who dared to create a community whose values and principles guide us to be all that we can be and to give all that we can give. It never came through in their lifetime, and yet here we are. I feel the hopes of those who have gone before us to create this beautiful space in which we meet. From one building, they hoped to another building until we are here. Not through wishing, not through praying, not through just hoping, but by choosing hope, but by the fire within our ancestors who chose to be hope and created this beautiful potential that we fulfill today by being here. I feel the hopes as we find our way back from COVID, reorganizing, putting our hopes into the work of collaboration and communication, to rise together, not through wishing, but through the work each of us gives to live our covenant of right relations with each other. And as we do, we choose to hope. I feel the hope when we greet each other in the effect saying, I see you, I appreciate you, I am glad you're here, bringing me the awareness that I matter, that my hope of community is real in this place we call our home. I find hope in the stories we share that awaken my own desires and encourage me to keep on going. I find comfort from this community when results may not go as intended, yet we may walk together to keep going and wipe the dirt off, spit out the tooth, and arise for another go-around. I know hope when we share our joys and sorrows, that I will be held in this congregation's embrace through the healing of my sorrow, and my joys doubled as it celebrates with me. I recognize hope when I see our youth do Word for All Ages, reminded of that when Doug and Miriam played Teach Your Children in the prelude. To teach our children well, to allow them to teach us as well, is the reciprocal model of hope. Gifts given and gifts received, as we hope for a future based on love that starts with us. It is my prayer, it is my wish and my hope that we learn to understand that hope and action are partners. Gifts that our hope must have hands and our prayers must have feet, which brings us to know that hope is real. May our lives become letters of hope written to future generations, proof that some believed another world was possible and worked to make it so. And may it be true for us as well. Amen. Now I'm hoping I find my place in my schedule. Okay, so let us arise in body or spirit for our closing psalm, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, page 126. You may be seated.
Okay. We don't have seats. We don't have any announcements up here, but if you have some, let us know. If you have an announcement for a Sunday service, please send it to the office at uucqc.org by 12 noon on Thursday before the service. Finally, let me draw your attention to the additional announcements printed on the back of your order of service. Okay. Now you'll extinguish. Okay. Please remain standing as we extinguish the chalice and join in the unison reading. May you choose hope even when it trembles. May it be kind of hope that plants seeds, waits in the dark and trusts the stirring, hope that doesn't deny despair but dares to outlast it. May it be the flame within you that lights the way.
For our closing, I came upon a song. It's called The Last Song, and it was written and sung by Dan Nahad. It says, he sings to the tune, Lying Within Us. If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want my life to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? No, not fortune or fame. They scatter in the wind. Those things just make a name, but they don't matter in the end. Is this world a little more peaceful? Are oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words and there's nothing left to say, I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope is feel that I am doing what I can. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I am so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time? Only to hope to say that I'm so glad I came. Leaves us with good questions as we leave our community and venture forth into a world that sorely is hard to understand. So may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. And may the seed within you never be eaten by that one chicken that never crossed the road because you were too fearful to live into hope. Go in peace and let us be hopeful. Amen.